dozens of competitive barbecue sauce makers from around the state will go sauce to sauce in the first annual Getting Saucy BBQ competition in North Charleston on Saturday, September 24th. Today, I talk one-on-one with the organizers of this event, Bernard Johnson, the president of the Arc of the Lowcountry, and Brandon Close of the Chipper Dog Barbecue for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Bernard Johnson, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. And Brandon Close, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that you basically inboxed me on Instagram a couple of days ago, and you wanted me to talk to you all about, obviously, the Getting Saucy barbecue sauce competition, which will be held coming up Saturday, September 24th, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and I believe it will be at the Firefly Distillery, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
And I know this is the first annual Getting Saucy barbecue sauce competition. Let me ask you this. Why a competition? Why Charleston? Why now?
You want to start that one?
Yeah, sure. So actually, North Carolina does a lot of these types of festivals. They tie them into their festivals, but they have sauce competitions kind of as part of that festival. And there's really nothing, to my knowledge, like that in South Carolina. In fact, we talked to the South Carolina Barbecue Association, and they weren't aware of anything really sauce related. So we decided to take the initiative on that. There's, especially after the pandemic and through the pandemic, there's a bunch of great small batch sauce companies that are popping up, and we want to give them some recognition.
Including yours, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And Mr. Bernard, let me ask you, how did you all approach this particular competition as far as an idea?
It was kind of an amazing feat. We met at a networking info meeting, and as we were exchanging our different occupations, Brandon expressed that he would love to have a competition here, but he wanted to ensure that it was fair.
Yes.
And according to our goals for this year, we were supposed to be having a fundraiser. And I said, we've got the perfect opportunity to bring together two ideas,
yes, that
the community can actually benefit from. And so from there, we went about the business of planning the event.
And I don't know too much about your nonprofit organization. So can you tell the viewers about the Arc of the Lowcountry?
The Arc of Lowcountry is one of more than 700 local organizations across the country, united under the banner of advocating for services for individuals and family members with intellectual and physical disabilities. Here in Charleston, we concentrate primarily on programs and supports from that standpoint. So we do have a state chapter that concentrates more or less on that next level up from where we are, dealing with all of our politicians and things of that nature. So that's where we're at here.
So what new programs are you enacting right now?
Currently, we have two main programs. Our first one is our continuing education program, where we have partnered with 3 of the adult day centers here, and we provide continuing learning opportunities for the citizens there in the centers. One of the big issues related to that is once they become 21 and they age out and they're not able to get into college, their formal learning, it ceased to happen. So we're filling that particular gap. And we're also filling that knowledge gap for the parents for that time when they are no longer able to provide support for their loved ones. So we're teaching them how to build a financial plan so that their loved ones can live a very comfortable life, and whoever is taking care of them, they're not struggling. Mm-hmm. So we want to bring those type of programs and increase the knowledge in the community.
And I want to get you back on Quintin's Close-Ups to talk more about it, but I want 2 more questions to ask you about this. How many more gaps do you all have to fill with this particular initiative?
Oh my God. Well, certainly there's always the actual housing gap.
Yes.
And that's really, really big here in Charleston, considering we just were recently, unfortunately, voted as the most unaffordable uh, city as far as living is concerned, even though we're the number one city for tourists. So we've got that one. There's still some medical gaps that are out there, and there's some respite gaps that are out there for the actual families um, who have the loved ones. So they need to be able to take a break. So we need to have those opportunities for them, and as well as the therapy sessions and everything else along those lines. So there are a lot of gaps, and we're not going to fill them all as an organization, but we are going to be strategic, and we're going to partner with those organizations that are concentrated on certain areas so that we leverage our manpower and our skills. And, we're being judicious, the word, whatever that particular word is for, we want to be able to manage the money correctly.
Sure. Sure. So when it comes to gaps, how are politicians and leaders in Colombia and around the world helping you fill that gap?
Wow. That's a tough one for me. They are doing as much as they believe that they are able to do.
Okay.
Now, as a parent of a loved one with disabilities, I'll tell you, I don't think they're doing enough. And as far as I'm concerned, adults with disabilities or families with loved ones with disability, that's our number one priority, because if 20% of the entire population are people diagnosed with disabilities, that's where a major focus should be at.
And I got to get to the barbecue in a minute, but let me ask you this: what is what is that percentage of disabilities or people with disabilities here in Charleston right now?
Right now, I believe it's something like if you look at the Tri-County area, I think it's like 100, maybe 106,000.
Wow.
It's quite a bit.
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. And you talk about the housing gap earlier, Mr. Bernard, and obviously, as you know, and Mr. Brandon also knows this too, but a lot of people are moving to Charleston. So how do you all keep up with this growth, with smart growth, with people with disabilities?
Well, one of the first things that someone with disabilities is going to do is certainly they're going to contact our disability department at the state level to find out which services are going to transfer. We also have some information on our site where we provide information to parents thinking about coming to South Carolina with loved ones with disabilities, because sometimes the services that are in one state don't necessarily transfer to the next state, and that can be found in on our website at www.arclowcty.org.
Another big thing, Quintin, is exposure.
Oh, yes.
Getting the name of the Arc of the Lowcountry out there and letting families know that these services are available and we're here to help.
Yeah, and that's why I want to pivot just a little bit to talk about that. And I hope to get Mr. Bernard back on, hopefully December when my calendar opens back up to talk more about it. But let me reset and go back to Getting Saucy BBQ sauce competition. As you know, it's going to be September 24th on a Saturday from 11 to 6 at North Charleston at the Firefly Distillery. And I know obviously dozens of competitive sauce makers from around the state will go sauce to sauce with one winner who will be declared the official South Carolina barbecue sauce grand champion. So let me ask you this, Brandon. How does South Carolina actually get saucy with its barbecue sauce?
Well, South Carolina actually has all 4 regions of barbecue. And I think we talked about this a little bit on my first interview.
Right.
We have the mustard, the vinegar, the thin tomato, the thick tomato. We're going to lump all of our tomato together for the festival. We're going to have a spicy and a mild division. But we're going to represent 5 different kinds of sauces. We're going to have the mild sauce, the spicy tomato, the mustard, a vinegar category, and a specialty category. If you don't quite fit into any of those, we have a special category just for you. I think last count we had 48 different sauces from 22 companies coming from across the Southeast.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Multiple award winners too.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, we have multiple companies that have won, best in shows in all of the categories.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Okay. How many barbecue sauce entrepreneurs were actually involved with the development of this particular competition?
We've really only had one, myself, as a
Oh,
company in the development of the event. I will say,
yes, sir.
with that being said, all of the promotion and the judging, I've stepped away from. I'm not involved in any of that.
Sure.
I'm kind of here to help on the logistical sides of things and the day of and how we're gonna get barbecue, and sampling and sausage to
yes.
the patrons as they come in.
And so I know the competitors will be provided with the pork, and actually they are prohibited from providing additional season to the pork itself. What type of pork will be provided?
We're doing pulled pork butt, and we're also going to offer shredded chicken for those who don't eat pork too.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So what seasoning will be in the actual pork?
I'm sorry.
It's just a smoked pork that we're sauceless that we are going to provide to each individual company, and then they will put their sauce on the kind of default pork, and then so it's strictly everything across the board will be equal. Like you said, they're not allowed to put any rub or any other additive onto it, so the pork will be consistent. So people will be able to try, my sauce compared to Cox barbecue sauce who's coming, or Billy's slapping sauce, Three Little Pigs from Somerville, Swamp Tonic, and I know, like I said, there's about 20 or 18 more that I forgot, so I apologize.
Oh, no worries. And let me ask you this too. I'll ask Mr. Bernard this. Will the competitors be able to enter any number of barbecue sauces and categories, but may only enter each sauce in one category?
You can enter into all 5 categories, but not the exact same thing. You know what I mean? You can't take your same sauce and then enter it into all 5 categories. Yeah.
Each sauce is only able to be entered into one category, and you can only enter one sauce into each category.
And I know this might be a redundant question, but does each sauce submitted into the category have to be the best fit for its ingredients?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That is a requirement. That's one of the 5 requirements, as far as we've got taste, the consistency, your branding, so we've got those requirements that we've leveraged to what the judges are going to be judging each one of the sauces against.
And if you were to show up and your sauce, you entered in as a mustard sauce, and you don't quite fit into that category, we can put you into the specialty category, I think. So.
Yeah, and will sauces only be judged?
Only sauces. We're not doing any rubs.
Yeah. That's why I say getting saucy. So it's all in the sauce, baby. It's all in the sauce.
Yeah. Yes. That's a great question, though.
Okay.
As we grow, we would love to add a rub category and potentially a hot sauce too.
Oh wow! Hey, you go a little too far.
One at a time.
One at a time. Actually, this, gentlemen, will the sauces be poured and assigned a number to assure anonymity, obviously, in blind judging?
Absolutely. No, it is not blind judging.
Okay.
It is not blind judging.
Okay.
They're going to be judged on their branding and appearances also.
And of course, the texture and taste?
Texture and taste, yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you this. Could ties be broken by the taste score?
So what we're going to do is each sauce, those 5 categories, we'll rank them 1 to 5. And,
the top competitors, the top winners from each of the categories, those winners will then go on to be evaluated by our finalist panel. And so that's where the winner will come from. So
yeah, if we have 2 mustards that each score the same, we have a tiebreaker system in place. We'll send a 3-panel judge over that maybe judged a different category to reevaluate.
Wow.
And if we still can't, then we can send 2 mustard sauces or 2 tomato sauces up to the final judging.
Oh, wow. Wow. So let me ask you, gentlemen, will a minimum weight of 12 ounces be required for judging?
So each sample will be about a half ounce.
Hmm.
So
Now you got to understand those are also those samples are provided to the public so that they'll be able to sample the product, and there's also a fan favorite. So
each judge is going to have to sample
Oh, yes.
10 sauces, so we don't want them to have to eat 12 ounces of each.
Yeah, that'll be a little too much. So, okay, let me ask you this. Will commercially available barbecue sauces with proven sales record be used in the judging process?
Yeah, so you have to be commercially available to get into our competition. I know that's a little unfair, but for liability reasons,
yes,
we wanted to make sure that you were produced in the proper facilities and have the proper paperwork and the FDA and all the allergen testing you need to have and all that kind of stuff.
And this might be a silly question, but will the sauces be delivered or dropped off?
So each company outside of one is actually will be at the festival handing out samples. You'll be able to buy sauce and branded material from them. So we did have two that weren't able to make it, but we will make sure they get judged and are treated fairly. But other than that, all of these companies will be there. You can shake hands with the owner or their representatives.
And this might be another silly question, and it's probably an unfair question. But let me ask you, what will be the official sauce for this competition?
There isn't one.
There's one yet. That's to be determined.
Next year, we'll have a first annual Getting Saucy winner that we will promote into the second annual Getting Saucy.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what is the most popular sauce right now in South Carolina as far as barbecue?
It depends on where you're at. I mean, I'd like to say mustard here in Charleston, but if you're up in Myrtle Beach, they'd probably argue vinegar is more popular.
He's going to say must because that's the competition that he won. That's we've got to be clear.
I mean, honestly, if we're being completely honest, I think tomato is always going to be the king.
Yes.
But
yeah.
We'll see. I mean, we think just by the numbers, and I don't have them right in front of me. I think mustard or tomato was by far the most entrants.
Wow, yeah. You talk about mustard, you talk Orangeburg mustard sauce. That's what I learned about at Qology Barbecue. That was just amazing to use.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. So let's say, for instance, if anybody wants to buy tickets right now, how can we go about that?
Tickets are available at www.gettingsaucysc.com. And make sure you pick them up beforehand because they are $5 more if you have to get them at the gate.
Wow.
Remember, there's a cashless event, so you can't bring cash expecting to pay for your ticket.
Okay.
And let's not forget Firefly either. They're going to be there pouring great drinks. They're going to have some signature cocktails, beer, seltzers. We'll have water, soda. We are going to have some auxiliary food trucks there too. So if you get tired of eating barbecue, pick up some non-barbecue food.
Because Firefly has been absolutely wonderful and tremendously helpful and helping us structure this. We can't say enough about those guys.
Yes.
And they do have their farmers market going on beforehand. Separate event that is free to get into, but stop and see some other local artisans before you stop in and grab some barbecue with us.
Which also we will have entertainment there.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. We've got the entertainment for you. It's going to be a full day.
And we have a cornhole tournament also.
Wow. And I know some people who I've interviewed for Quintin as a recent are actually going to be participating in this event as well. So that's going to be exciting.
Great. Yeah. The work's really starting to get out there. So we appreciate all you guys, Quintin, obviously you included, for helping us spread the word for the event and for the Arc of the Lowcountry.
Yes, we really do.
Yes, indeed. So which barbecue sauce describes you all the best?
I'm a mustard guy.
I'm a spicy guy.
Wow.
Now I don't discriminate. I like it all.
I'm a spicy guy, but it's mine.
Yes, sir.
It's not commercially available. Make sure this might get in there to have to really let this thing.
I'm one of those people. I think you should try the specialty of the local cuisine. So if you're in mustard territory, I think you should eat mustard. If you're in vinegar territory, you should eat vinegar. You know, don't go to Memphis and try to look for a mustard sauce. Don't go, you know.
Nashville.
So
Yeah, and I was
that's
in
just my
Nashville. Yeah, and I was in Nashville just a month ago. Oh my God, I love the barbecue there.
yeah, completely
that's-
different style though.
Yes.
And I'm sure I'm going to hear some flack from a Tennessee barbecue company now that's like, we can do just as good of a mustard. But
Okay. What are those up and coming sauces that you're seeing on the horizon?
Alabama White's a big one
Yes.
that I hear, you know, a lot of people ask for or ask about.
Yeah.
And this will probably upset my friends up in Myrtle Beach in North Carolina, but vinegar sauce. They're going to think it's, you know, but that's a very regional sauce also. If you get outside of the Southeast, you don't see a whole lot of just straight spiced vinegar. So, and then mustard too. Those three, I think, are the big. And then, of course, we have a Chicago mild sauce, our Old Red. We're trying to make that a lot more popular too.
Wow.
Or in DC, they call it Mamba sauce, but it's the same thing.
Wow, I didn't know that in Chicago and DC. Wow, amazing. Well, you know, I got hooked onto the Alabama white sauce by eating at Rodney Scott Barbecue.
Oh, I didn't even realize he had a white sauce.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know I use it a lot on the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, and that's what it's made for. White sauce is chicken.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. So, who else is going to be there besides entertainment and of course, the food?
Well, we want to have some local celebrities. Ann McGill is going to be our MC. And then I don't want to announce anything because it's not set in stone, but we are asking a couple other local personalities if they'd like to be judges. So,
yeah,
and if you're available, we'd love to have you too.
As a judge.
Well,
I know you stay pretty busy.
Yes, sir. If I have some time, I'll let you know for sure.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for this, Bernard Johnson, and of course, Brandon Close. Thank you for your time on Quintin's Close-Ups.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome anytime.